What's going on, horror fanatics? Welcome to I Shot Him 6 Times YouTube horror movie channel. As you know, I'm your host and creator of the channel, Marcus. Returning viewers and subscribers, please shoot the like and share buttons. It helps out with the YouTube algorithm a ton. New viewers, shoot the like button followed by the sub and notification icons so you get all the latest content updates to the channel. In this video, I will be discussing Mindy Meeks Martin, 1/4 of the core 4 in Radiosilence's Scream, as well as being the niece of OG legacy character Randy Meeks. Mindy can be viewed as the new Randy given her love of horror and the fact, much like Randy, she explains the rules of surviving a horror movie, though she's not as effective or likable as a character as Randy was. Ever since the final act of Scream 6, Mindy has been the subject of a theory that she could actually be Ghostface in Scream 7, given some sketchy dialogue that was said by the character that I also picked up on. With that being said, I rewatched some scenes from Scream 5 and Scream 6 to reevaluate the character to see if there were any other signs that could point to her as a killer. Let's dig in. The first thing many of us picked up on is that so far in 2 films, when Mindy gets attacked, she gets sliced on the shoulder, but other than that, there is no other real damage done to her. In 6, she does get stabbed twice in the stomach on the subway. But the issue with her attacks is that killers have had a clear opportunity to do far more worse damage or even kill her, but don't, especially compared to her brother Chad, who has been stabbed over 20 times in 2 films. Now, of course, we can chalk that up to bad writing for the character, but you can also think that maybe there's a reason the killers don't attempt to do as much harm to Mindy as they have done to her brother, as there is a clear difference to the killer's aggression and intent when attacking the two. Another thing many found odd is that in Scream 5, after getting slashed on the shoulder, she passes out from the sight of quote-unquote so much blood. However, what's even stranger that I picked up on in Scream 6 is that she does not do this when getting attacked at the apartment or on the subway, and she took more punishment in that subway scene alone than she did in 5. Now, you could say the first time her seeing her own blood in that fashion caused her to pass out, and I wouldn't be against that claim because that is entirely possible. However, I feel like as a fan of horror movies, add in the fact that I'm sure she has seen her own blood before via off-screen boo-boos as a kid, random nosebleed, etc. In my opinion, seeing blood shouldn't garner that type of reaction, especially when the amount of blood was exaggerated and the wound wasn't even life-threatening. The second thing that was picked up on was right after Vince and Chad's confrontation at the bar, you see Mindy pull out her cell phone as if she's going to text or as if she is texting someone before the camera pans away from her. The very next scene, Vince gets killed in the parking lot. Now, this could have been done to make her look like a massive red herring, but it's still very odd that she pulled out her phone, seemingly to text someone directly after Vince pulled a knife on her brother Chad. Keep in mind, they all got kicked out of the bar, so it's not impossible to think Mindy killed Vince. She had motive, being he just threatened her brother's life in the bar. The third thing that was picked up on was in the final act reveal at the shrine. Bailey and Ethan had revealed themselves already, with one more Ghostface still yet to take off the mask to reveal. You hear Samantha say if it's you two, then that leaves Mindy, as she thought it was Mindy who was working with Ethan and Bailey. It was revealed to be Quinn Bailey, who had faked her death at the apartment scene earlier in the film. But in my opinion, the fact that Samantha even thought it could have been Mindy, the argument can be made that her thinking that it was is a foreshadowing for the future, especially when Sam made it clear she only trusts her friends from Woodsboro when not allowing Danny to aid them at the shrine, citing the fact that he's not from Woodsboro. So the fact that she actually thought one of her Woodsboro alums was involved and it was Mindy, I don't blame anyone for looking at that as a subtle foreshadowing of things to come for Mindy's character. The fourth thing, and this is something that I noticed when rewatching 5, is on her Uncle Randy's memorial mantle, you see a picture with a movie theater with iconic Wes Craven movies being played there. Mindy is the one who walks past briefly, showcasing the mantle. Now, this was obviously done as an homage to Wes Craven and Randy Meeks' character, but ironically in Scream 6, the Ghostface Shrine is located at an old ran-down movie theater. If Mindy is a killer, going back to Scream 5, then attempting to have Sam killed at both Stu's house and the theater makes sense, being Randy was shot and almost killed at Stu's, and that this is where the entire Ghostface legacy began. and Randy is a massive fan of movies, so having Sam killed in a movie theater would pay ultimate tribute to Randy, especially given the motive as to why Mindy would want Sam dead in the first place, which I will discuss shortly. The fifth thing is that in Scream 6, when Kirby Reed points out the TV that quote-unquote killed Stu Macher, Mindy replies by saying, "That's if you believe he's dead." Now, we all know this is the biggest theory in the Scream universe, that Stu Macher is not dead and that he is indeed alive. And it seems Mindy believes in the theory as well. But why does she believe in it? This comment by her leads me to believe that maybe she has been looking into it online, maybe doing some research. We know that there was a YouTube video in Scream 5 dubbed, "Is the real Stu Macher alive?" Could Mindy know something nobody else knows? It's not impossible to think given her response to Kirby. Also, if Mindy does truly believe Stu is alive, why doesn't she bring this up to the rest of the Core 4, especially when Ghostface killings are happening? I would assume if she truly does believe he is alive, then shouldn't she be adding him and mentioning him to the suspect list, especially being Stu is connected to Sam because of him being her father Billy's accomplice in the OG murders. Something to think about for sure. The sixth and most sketchy piece of dialogue we've gotten from the characters so far through 2 films is at the end of Scream 6. Mindy arrives on scene after being treated at the hospital. She runs up and tells Sam, Tara, and Chad that Ethan and Bailey were the killers. Why this is funky is because after being stabbed on the subway with Ethan present, she says she got the killers wrong again. So the fact that she knew who the killers were in the end is very suspicious, because she wouldn't know this unless she was involved in some way, in my opinion. She even tried to deflect what she said by asking everyone if they were okay and saying she's super high from the hospital drugs. But there was no getting around that, in my opinion. We, the audience, noticed. This is another issue you can chalk up to bad writing, but in my opinion we might have to start thinking that there may be a reason for why certain dialogue for certain characters are faulty the way they are. As honorary mentions, we must keep in mind that in 2 films, there are 3 people who attempted to portray Sam as the villain: Richie, his sister Quinn, and Mindy. Mindy being the first to do so in Scream 5 during the requel monologue. Richie and Quinn were Ghostfaces, something to think about in my opinion. Also, though it's not canon, in a Scream 5 deleted scene, you saw Mindy suspiciously hanging outside of the Hicks residence after their murders took place, and being confronted by Sam for doing so. Maybe this scene was cut because it would have made Mindy too obvious as a killer, but we may never know. So Mindy, what's your motive? Well, her motive is quite simple. Billy, Sam's dad, attempted to kill Mindy's Uncle Randy in 1996 by shooting him at Stu Macher's house. And Nancy Loomis, Billy's mother and Samantha's grandmother, got a little too knife happy and finished off Randy in the back of Joel's news van in Scream 2. The classic revenge story that I know many are tired of, but I have to point it out that it does exist for Mindy's character as a killer. But it will also pay subtle fan service for those who have always wanted to see her Uncle Randy as a Ghostface, being that he was the guy who knew all of the rules. I recall quite a few people wanting that to happen, and being she is dubbed the new Randy, turning her into a killer would play off of that idea. With all that being said, and though what I mentioned here in the video are viable reasons to suspect Mindy as a killer, I think the biggest rebuttal for me why I don't believe we'll get Mindy revealed as a mastermind Ghostface, or at least somebody who isn't a Ghostface, but maybe played a hand in new killers showing up, kind of like Audrey's character in Scream the TV series, is her brother Chad. Why would Mindy want Chad dead or want to put him at any risk of being harmed? They have a fun brother-sister relationship, as we've seen through 2 films. I just can't see her wanting to harm Chad or put him in that situation in any way. The only way Mindy being a killer works for me is if Chad isn't on it with her, being they would have the same motive to kill Sam to avenge Randy. And given his newfound love slaving over Sam's sister Tara, add the fact that I don't think the man would voluntarily be stabbed 20 plus times, I can't see Chad being a killer either. But okay everyone, that is it for this video. Leave a comment in the comment section below and let me know your thoughts on mindymeeksmartin's character. Do you see her as a future killer based on the things that I talked about here in the video? Or do you think that she is nothing more than just a massive red herring in both Scream 5 and 6 and going forward? Once again, this is I Shot Him 6 Times, YouTube horror movie channel. I'm your host and creator of the channel, Marcus. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon. Thank you all for watching.